So thank you all very, very much for being here. We are going to get into what what is going on in the divorce real estate landscape, and really what the challenges are, as well as kind of where it is all heading. So just a little bit about me. I've been a licensed realtor since 2005. I got licensed just before the bottom fell out. And the only way that I knew how to build a business was literally climbing uphill once the market crashed. I'm here in Southern California. We felt the effects big time of the '08 crash. And I got into the divorce niche. My second listing that I ever took was a divorce case. And ever since then, I have focused solely on the divorce niche. I've been doing this now 20 years, and it's all I do, is work in as a court appointed real estate expert in family law cases. I get some cases that are also I get some probate. I get a little bit of partition action and some other litigation type cases, but for the most part, it is all divorce. And so this is all I do. So in 2018, I decided to actually it was 2017. I decided to take what I had learned in building my business and turn it into a curriculum, so that other realtors could learn this industry as well. I got asked by family law attorneys, how do I find a Laurel Starks where I am? And then I also found a lot of realtors that asked me, how do I do what you do? Can you teach me? So I decided to put it together in a curriculum, and in 2018, we launched the Ilumni Institute, and that was when the Certified Divorce Real Estate Expert (CDRE) profession essentially was born. And since then, we're going now into our eighth year. We've been doing this it has been 8 years. We launched in January of 2018. I've learned a ton, and we have got CDREs all throughout the country now, and I have learned just an incredible amount as to what plagues the family law legal system, as well as the real estate industry, as it pertains to these types of cases, these litigated cases. And one thing I can tell you is that the issues that plague one market plague every single market. So our CDRE community, we communicate. We're a very vibrant community, and we share all kinds of experiences and questions and challenges and so forth. And you could literally copy paste and put just about everything from one market to the next. Whether you are in Indianapolis, you're in Miami, you're in San Francisco, you're in Peoria, Illinois, it doesn't matter. The problems are the same. There are a couple of nuances, as you know, in how real estate is practiced, but for the most part, it's all the same. Just like in the chat here, when you all indicated what is challenging you in your markets, it's the same thing. So right now, we have got we've really identified what's going on all over the country. And there is a broken system within the family law space. Let me ask you guys, how many of you have either personally, you don't have to say which one, but have you personally been involved in the family law system, or someone, maybe a family member, maybe a really good friend, that has been in the family law system? Just say yes, me, whatever. Crystal, yep, everyone knows 10 people. Okay. So of those that know someone, or you've experienced yourself, how many of you, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to rate how effective, efficient, and dialed in the family law legal system is, okay, a 10 means that it is an extremely efficient, dialed in system. A 1 means it's a very broken system. What would you rate it? Where would you rate it? A 3, a negative 10, a 3 at best. Yeah. 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 So it is, I can tell you from someone who works in this space exclusively, it is indeed an extremely broken system. The family law legal system is very, very broken on multiple levels. We're here to talk about the real estate piece of it and how that's broken. We also have a very interesting shift going on in our industry, if you haven't already been aware, but we've got, the old models of practicing real estate are just very, very different. The rise of a couple of things, the rise of online portals. I mean, if you were in when I got into this business, there was no such thing as IDX. There was no such thing as, you just go onto a website called Zillow and you see all the inventory. It just didn't exist. So we had a book that was the MLS that came out every Monday down at the board. And the industry has shifted significantly, and online portals have grown substantially, and inserted themselves in between the consumer and the real estate professional. And that's just getting more and more prevalent that we've all seen. So we've got a shifting industry that in our space. We've also got a broken system within the courts. And so what that does is when we put those two together, we've got really a compelling opportunity for realtors, but then also for those that are impacted by the broken system. So I'm going to get into that. Let's talk about the problem with the court system, because every single business that can solve a problem and solves a problem well and effectively is a good business. That is what most businesses that thrive do. They solve a problem. Many of them solve problems that no one really even knew existed. Who knew it was such a pain to hail a taxi cab until Uber came along, right? So when you have a business that is based on solving a problem, you've got a leg up on a viable business. The problem right now in family law is courts are overburdened. They're just clogged. Judges have got hundreds of active cases simultaneously, and they just can't get through them all. They can't hear these cases effectively. They have to make life-changing decisions with extremely limited information. We have got the wrong people who are making real estate decisions in the court system. They are made by non-real estate professionals. So the real estate aspect of a case is handled, and the decisions are made by legal professionals, not by real estate professionals. That's hugely problematic. This causes delays, it prolongs conflict, and it drives up costs for everyone involved. I always say that lawyers make their money off of conflict. If so long as conflict is alive, then lawyers have a job. The minute conflict disseminates, then family law attorneys don't have a job anymore. The core problem is that real estate is usually the largest aspect in a case, and it is handled without a single real estate professional in the room. Hugely problematic. So they are making these decisions with very, very limited information. They don't even know what information that they need. And families are paying a huge price, and so is the system. What's the problem with realtors trying to get into this space? The problem is, number one, the biggest problem we hear is getting past the gatekeepers. That they cannot get into, into a law office. They can't get past that gatekeeper to be able to meet with an attorney. And so just even it's that barrier to entry. Getting in is a huge challenge, because realtors most of the time don't understand the problems that lie within the legal system to come as a problem solver versus a solicitor. So that's one of the biggest problems that we see in the real estate space, trying to get into this. Also, low list to sell ratios. So these are some of the lowest list to sell ratios are divorce listings. They're very, very difficult. And without the right skill set, agents tend to tend to close less than half of the listings that they take in the space. It's very, very, very common to see that that another realtor had been on the case, failed to sell it, and then they hire somebody like me to get it done. And the failed outcomes. I mean, escrows, court delays, all of these types of things. So when a realtor is ill-equipped to do the job, and they can't get past a gatekeeper to even get the job, then what happens? The legal system, we go back to here. Courts are overburdened. Judges have to hear, they issues have to get brought before judges that are ridiculous. They are things like, the can't get somebody to sign paperwork, can't get somebody to show the house, can't get access to the house, these sorts of things. And so when judges have to hear that, it continues to clog their system. So most agents, shifting to the real estate space, most agents don't have a real business. We all know these numbers. This isn't new. 49% of realtors sold 0 to 1 homes. I think that was 2025. 70% sell 5 or fewer, and the median transactions less than 10 transactions per year. You can't survive on this type of this type of volume. And small percentage of agents drive the vast majority of transaction volume, and the rest are struggling. So we all know this. The agent business model is broken, and it's getting more and more broken. It's built on dependency. Many of you have heard the slogan, and if you haven't, make this your a Bible verse, so to speak. He who controls the leads controls the business. If you are depending on someone else for leads, then they own you. You don't own your business. Reliance on lead platforms and referral networks. So that's bigger. That's becoming a growing segment of our industry. Relying on on these online portals, and reload companies, or real estate referral models is just becoming more and more prevalent, because these platforms are inserting themselves with grand scale in between the consumer and us. Referral fees are 25 to 40% per transaction. And then lastly, we've got inconsistency in pipeline. So if you don't rely on one of these lead platforms, and you're not paying those types of referral fees, it is difficult to maintain consistency in a business. We all know that bills are consistent, overhead is consistent, payroll is consistent, rent is consistent, but our revenue stream is very inconsistent. So this is where we've got, big problems with the real estate industry. Revenue stream augmentation. So this is what a lot of people are doing. They're augmenting their revenue stream. That's why we see, people are just drawn to the EXP model and the real model, and the rev share and the recruiting model, because it provides an additional revenue stream. Because a real estate business's revenue stream is extremely inconsistent, and it's also extremely fragmented. So, property management, many agents are getting really creative with social media monetization, doing investment partnerships, and side hustles and so forth. And we see this, because it's difficult to make ends meet just doing real estate on our own. The profitability gap. So when we've got, a healthy business, if you just look at a chart of accounts in typical accounting for a regular, healthy, service-based business, client acquisition cost is 5 to 10% of an entire budget. In real estate, with these referral fees getting paid out, 25 to 40% are going out just to stay in business of referral fees. That is absolutely unsustainable. It is a broken model. That's before we get into overhead. That's before we get into profit, anything like that. And it just doesn't work. Or realtors are reducing their fees. You reduce your fee by 1%. That's a 33% reduction in income. just to remain competitive. So this is just what's happening all over the place. And it turns out that, it's not sustainable. So realtors, many like yourself, are looking for other ways to, to differentiate yourself and to get into another space. This is where, so when you take the problem that exists within the court system, and then you take the struggle of real estate and you marry the two, this is where the opportunity lives. Um, Courts just don't have time. Attorneys are not experts in real estate. Um, Agents aren't trained adequately in how to handle the sale of a property that's in litigation. When you take a divorce listing, you're talking about a property that is under the jurisdiction of the court. Even if the case is over and done, the court still has jurisdiction over the division of the marital property. And then we've got massive market gaps. The divorce is the largest shared asset most of the time, with no specialist in the room. So let me also put that in context for you, because in the family law legal system, um, they rely on experts for every other aspect of their case. They rely on psychologists to do a custody evaluation. If there is a dispute with regards to who gets the kids, what's the time, what's the time allocation, the custody share. They rely on a specifically trained child custody evaluator, who's someone in the psychology industry, to do an evaluation and write a report for the court. They rely on forensic accountants, and this is all they do, is figure out the forensics of how money flows within a marriage and a household if it gets complex, and they write reports for the court so that the court knows what to do. And there are many other aspects of family law that they rely on experts. But guess what? Until the CDRE program existed, there is not a real estate professional who is equipped to handle the real estate aspect of a case. It is not like taking another listing. This isn't about door knocking on newly filed cases, or door knocking at attorneys and taking them to lunch or something like that, and then getting in over our heads with how to actually navigate the sale of a property with two people that are in conflict with one another. So that is why we exist. And so that's really the solution, is to have trained real estate experts who can fill this gap, who can solve the headache that exists in the legal space, and know how to manage high conflict parties, know how to prevent these these financial errors, and reduce and mitigate court involvement. They call it the judicial economy, which is when things are more efficient within the legal system, it reduces the amount of court involvement, and courts don't want to be involved. They're already overloaded. So when we can train up agents to effectively do these things and literally sell 90 to 100% of the listings that they take, then then that's going to be a win-win-win for everyone. We are seeing this because we're on the forefront of it. The Ilumni Institute, we're on the forefront, and we are seeing now the shift is happening. So 50% of our applicants that come in are coming in through either attorneys who are sending to us the realtors that they come across or that they've worked with, and say, I cannot continue to work with you until you become a CDRE. So we're getting about 25 to 30% of our applicants are coming straight from attorneys, because the industry is now demanding it. And then, believe it or not, we've got also ChatGPT and Claude and different AI sources are also advising clients who are doing searches on how to handle the real estate aspect of their case. They are sending them to CDRE. You're welcome to go open up your chat app and ask. Pretend you're a divorcing homeowner. What should I do? Who should I hire to sell my home if I'm going through a divorce? And I guarantee you, CDRE is going to top the list. And the reason for that, we don't, pay chat or anything like that, but it's because this is what's going out into the ecosystem. We are seeing it, and it's just going to continue to happen more and more and more and compound more and more and more. So the future really belongs to the problem solvers. It's the people who know how to solve the problem of divorce real estate, who know how to handle these complex cases. I will tell you that the I will tell you that these cases are not easy, and these are not for agents that are looking for a quick fix, to looking for something easy to do, easy to get into. It's a challenge, but once you get through it, the biggest challenge, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here right now. The biggest challenge that we have, that our CDREs have, is not getting the business. The biggest challenge that our CDREs have is, how do they scale their internal operations so that they can support the business that is coming in? Those are the conversations that we're having. There are no referral fees, by the way. This is not a model. Our model is not one where we endorse, we really condone referral fees. This is business that was earned by the CDREs, and they deserve every bit of compensation that they have earned. We do not dole out leads and that sort of thing, because I believe very much in controlling the business that you have created. So that is sort of a high level overview of what's going on in divorce real estate right now, what we are seeing. And I am happy to take some questions. I'm pretty much an open book for anybody that knows me. So go ahead and put any questions in the chat. I do see, let's see, there's a Q&A. Oh, Jenny Anderson. Hi, welcome from Canada. Great to meet you. How long so in order to get the designation, Crystal, the designation, so first and foremost, we only allow, we will only accept anyone who has been in business for at least 3 years and who has done 45 transactions. And we don't go off of volume, we go off of unit count, because time over task over time is what creates an expert, not landing a big whale of a listing, a few. So those are our requirements for application. And then once someone is accepted into the program, then the training is 12. It's a 12-week program for training. Qualifying for the program. Can you please address this, and will there be an adjustment to this? Yeah, so I'm happy to address this, and it is out of reach for 50% of the agents. Yep. And there will not be an adjustment to this unless it just gets it would only get more strict, because here's why. Because when we use the term expert, so certified divorce real estate expert, CDRE, I want to define what expert means. Expert in real estate tends to be a marketing term. It's, I'm an expert. I'm an expert in short sales. I'm an expert in foreclosure. I'm an expert in seniors. I'm an expert in buyers. I'm an expert in, everything. In the legal space, expert is actually a legal term. There's actually you can Google your own evidence code section in your own jurisdiction, and you can see that there is a definition in the legal books for what an expert is. And so when we are training experts, we are not going to train and put our stamp behind someone who does not rise to that standard. It's not certified divorce real estate rookie. It's certified divorce real estate expert, because that's what they need. And the getting involved in the legal space is some of the most complex real estate that you can get. Quick story, my own son, he graduated college and with his degree in real estate. He's working on my team. In order for him to even go through my program, he has to have been a licensed agent for 3 years. He's only been for 2. And he has to have done a total of 45 units before I'm ever going to unleash him on a divorce listing. And he's at about 20 units right now. So he's working hard to get there. But absolutely not are we going to put, I've got a kid that grew up by osmosis in my house and has a degree in real estate, that there's no way that kid is in a position to take a divorce listing on his own. It's got to be, you've got to be an expert. You either are or you aren't. Let's see here. For the current CDREs, are these divorce transaction most great question, Cami. So we've got CDREs that are on all different levels. Those that have been doing this for 4 years or more, you tend to see that divorce transactions comprise anywhere from 80 to 100% of their business. So it's just it's a seasoning thing. The first year of being a CDRE, it is planting seeds. The goal is really to break even on expense. So if you've done, enough business in order to just pay all of your expenses, that is a win for year 1. Year 2, you're looking at getting a smaller profit, but you're still very, very much earning your sea legs in your legal community. Year 3, you start to really make some profits, and year 4, you're off to the races. And the profitability of this business, if you open up books, right? I ran a real estate team. I study books of realtors for a living. If you open up the books of P&Ls, and you see the profitability in the divorce space versus the profitability in any other space, the divorce space will hands down win. It's just an extremely lucrative, but it's hard. So there is a price to pay for that, so to speak. Let's see here. Is it acceptable to handle divorce listings if referred through an attorney, but without a designation? I'm hesitant. So what I would say is, Crystal, that it is without the listing. What you could do is you could certainly either co-list, or you could refer it out to a CDRE. We also have a class called Divorce Real Estate or Divorce Niche Bootcamp. You can take that class, and it teaches you how to walk through a listing. So feel free to go ahead and do that. Absolutely. So Jamela, you're a bit confused going through the program. Wouldn't that make you the expert? To put it into context, you don't get into the program without having a certain, without qualifying and meeting a certain standard. So think of it like this. Think of it like going to graduate school. In order to get into graduate school, you have to already have had, a 4-year degree. So here, in order to in order to get into the program, it's a pre-qualifier to get into the program. And then once you go through the program and you continue to go through the and you continue to to gain experience, that's when you become an expert. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, we are just about let's see, out of time. I will take, if anybody else has another question, I'm happy to take another question. And certainly if you have any additional questions, please feel free to go to our website. You can go to getdivorcecertified.com. You can book a call, get more information, really drill down on your own specific business. Does it make sense? And get all of your personalized questions answered. You will meet with Nikki, who is our COO, and she will, she'll do a deep dive into all of that with you. For anyone who applies, your interview will be with another CDRE. We really promote CDREs, leading CDREs. We have something here called Take a Hand, Lend a Hand. And so we are all here to help, to help one another and to raise the level in our industry. So anyway, all right, you all, please have a great rest of your day. Hopefully this has been helpful. And if this niche speaks to you, we're looking to grow our footprint and serve more and more and more communities throughout the country. All right, take care. Bye-bye.